Minister Lamula, what are South Africa's economic objectives for the upcoming G20? And what role does this B20 align with this objective?
Yeah, thank you very much. We are glad to receive the report from the B20 because it aligns with South Africa's G20 theme, and also the various task forces that they have tackled are also in line with the South Africa's G20 presidency. They have dealt with issues related to artificial intelligence, issues related to critical minerals, issues related to food security, issues related to responsive to climate change. So all these issues are part of the agenda for our G20 and also part of the theme, and also with the focus to Africa. And they've also shown a spotlight on the issues of critical minerals. You will know that South Africa has carried through all issues related to critical minerals to various multilateral platforms. The UN General Assembly adopted the report on critical minerals and how Africa should use this opportunity to benefit, to beneficiate, to industrialize, and also to benefit at source. So we are glad that FOCAC also, we carried this message to FOCAC, and the declaration carried the message. TICAD recently in Japan did the same, carried the message of beneficiation at source. And also our summit with the European Union also carried this in the declaration, the beneficiation at source. So it is key for us to focus this now to the Africa Free Trade Area, because you will not be able to trade if there is no industries, no manufacturing happening on the African soil, and also building the networks necessary to enable the Africa Free Trade Area, but also responding to the realities of climate change that are now besieging particularly the continent.
Yes. On that point, how does this G20 position South Africa globally? And what metrics of success do we seek to achieve as a country?
We are seeking to come with outcomes that will bridge the global south and the global north, particularly on the financing for development, the financial architecture, the financing for climate change. Also, the African continent still receives less than 3%. If we can be able to come up with recommendations that will enable the financial architecture to finance development in the continent, to finance climate change in the continent above the 3% I spoke about, and also to enable the continent to industrialize, manufacture in the continent, but also not just the continent, because you need a network of economies to be able to industrialize and function, that the global south and the global north meet each other. So they need to find synergy that will therefore enable the global economy to grow. So if the global south economy grows, it means also the economies of the global north will grow. But also if we beneficiate at source, we are industrializing in the continent, creating jobs. The African economies are growing, but also the global north will still receive some of the beneficiated goods in their platforms. The African continent can also export, the global south can export. So this, for us, this G20 should be a game changer to tilt the scales in the global economy towards solidarity, towards equality, and towards sustainable development.
Last question, Minister. What strategies do we have in place? Because South Africa has systems. The task forces spoke of agency of implementation. What strategies does the government have in place to be able to fast track the decisions or the proposals of the B20 and including the outcomes of the G20?
Yeah, once they have been adopted by the Leaders Summit, South Africa has systems to then domesticate the outcomes, to then factor them in all our planning in terms of the medium-term strategic framework, the National Development Plan, and all the plans that the country has to factor them in for implementation, and also to have a drive-in a buy-in of all stakeholders, the civil society, business, and labor, to come together to implement this. So we believe that once it is adopted, we will be able to drive the implementation agenda.
Thank you very much, Minister.
Thank you.
Very good.
Join the conversation on the BRICS channel on the hosting of the G20 in South Africa, including the report of the B20.